Tarot FAQ. If a twin flame isn't romantic, what is it? My twin flame story.
Come, my loves, I'll tell you a tale. This isn't a love story, it's my twin flame story. Get comfy, we'll be here a while. It's got fencing, fighting, torture, revenge, giants, monsters, chases, escapes, true love, and miracles. Before we begin, this is not advice. It's just me, sharing what I've lived through, what I've made peace with, and what still stings sometimes. It's messy. It's sacred. It's mine. Twin flames have taught me about 3 main lessons about jealousy, setting boundaries, and self-love. When I first heard the term twin flame, I didn't even know what it meant, but somehow I knew I had one. Over the course of my journey, I've thought it could be 3 different people. None of them were romantic connections, but each one felt like a soul mirror. One is a former coworker and longtime friend, someone I connect with more philosophically than socially. I feel a bond with him, unlike any other. Another is a friend I've known for over half my life, who inspires me not just with his intelligence and humor, but with his commitment, determination, skills, and deep empathy, a quiet kind of magic. And the third is a more recent connection within the last few years, almost sibling-like, whose life echoes mine in uncanny ways. And yet, as much as I question who it is, somehow I always end up at the same conclusion: the same person. That's the thing about twin flames. It doesn't always look like a love story. In fact, it rarely does. It's a soul lesson in disguise. A quick note before we continue. This is my personal perspective of my journey and connection. I have never had a conversation with him, or any of the others for that matter, to see if he feels the same way. So this reflects only my experience and understanding. At first, like many, I thought the twin flame journey was all about destined romance, soul-level fireworks, the happily ever after. But as my connection progressed, I realized that wasn't the full story. In fact, it wasn't the story at all. This was not our destiny. The truth is, a twin flame isn't here to complete your love story. They're here to reflect your deepest shadows and light, to challenge and awaken you. It's less about romantic bliss and more about spiritual growth. My own journey taught me that the connection is about walking parallel paths, learning lessons in empathy, resilience, and purpose, often in ways that push us far beyond the usual ideas of love. And in this scenario, learning what unconditional love truly is. There is no expectation he will love me back, no expectation for future connection, no expectation for any kind of return, and yet, I love him anyway. Not romantically, but genuinely. This shift opened me up to a broader, richer understanding of connection. My twin flame journey became less about finding the one, and more about healing, self-love, and stepping into my spiritual purpose. Sometimes even guiding the other through struggles similar to those I once faced. Through this journey, I have learned to see past illusions and deceptions, to see the world and myself from a completely different perspective. I now understand the duality of existence, the yin and yang of life. The light does not exist without the dark, and sometimes you have to touch the darkness to truly see the light. One of the hardest lessons in the twin flame journey has been dealing with jealousy. This connection is powerful and raw, and it can stir up emotions that feel overwhelming, especially when the other person connects with someone else. But the jealousy doesn't just exist between us. It also surfaces in those we're connected to, people who see the rawness of this bond and feel threatened by it. They may feel jealous or unsettled because this connection exposes truths or intensity that their relationships lack. There have been several moments throughout our connection that jealousy has hit me like a tidal wave, not the least of which was my own wedding day to someone else. But over time, I realized jealousy isn't about the other person. It's about what's unhealed inside me, insecurities, fears, and old wounds. Facing those feelings honestly became a key part of my healing. In fact, the jealousy ultimately became a gateway, a tough teacher that helped me learn to love more unconditionally. To love him fully, even in separation, even without any expectation for what the future holds. I've come to realize I can love him, not just the person, but his gifts, his adventures, his happiness. I can genuinely be happy that he found love, that he's chasing thrills and living fully, even if I'm not part of it. And in a strangely freeing way, I don't want to be part of it. I don't want to take him from his adventures, and I have my own life to lead, my own path to walk. My journey is mine, and it's unique, and it deserves my full attention and care. Again, I keep using this word, but I don't think it means what you think it means. This is not a romantic love, but the love you have for a dear friend, close family, beloved pet, or anyone else that is close to you. Love in its most innocent form. The kind that simply wants them to be happy, even if they're far away. Loving from this place, without attachment or expectation, is one of the deepest lessons my twin flame journey has taught me. It's about honoring both our separate paths while holding space for a love that transcends presence. Which leads me to the second lesson, setting boundaries. Setting boundaries was a key lesson on this journey, though interestingly, it started not directly with him, but with other people in my life. Over time, I realized I needed to set boundaries with him as well, not to push him away, but to respect both our connections and protect my own peace. These boundaries helped me remove myself from chaos, calamity, or shrieking eels, and helped me create space for healing, clarity, and miracles to the max. And the amazing thing is, because our connection is rooted in genuine respect and unconditional love, I find that I don't have to set many boundaries with him. There's an ease and trust there that feels rare. This experience gave me a new perspective on my other relationships, where I now clearly see the boundaries I do need to set. It's a reminder that not all connections are meant to be free-flowing. Some require clear limits to keep us safe and balanced. Part of learning to set boundaries came from watching his relationships and hating the way he was treated by those he was romantically connected to. Then one day, it dawned on me, I was allowing the same behaviors in my own life, and that was never going to change as long as I saw that as love. And yet, the person I felt I could actually love, I kept at a distance. Why? The reality was, I didn't see those negative connections as more loving. I saw them as what I deserved. I didn't feel worthy of the love I felt for him, so I ran from it. The person I married wasn't because I loved him more. It was because I didn't care as much about what he thought of me. I was afraid to share my struggles, so I didn't. That realization was painful but necessary. It pushed me to share my truth, accept and validate myself, to protect my energy, and to demand the respect I deserve. Setting boundaries isn't about building walls. It's about creating healthy space where growth and healing can happen for both of us. And the third lesson of self-love. Self-respect and self-love became my anchor through this entire journey. When the connection felt confusing, painful, or uncertain, it was my love for myself that kept me grounded. I learned that no matter how intense a connection is, I cannot pour from an empty cup. Taking care of my own emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being is not selfish, it's essential. If what they say about this connection is true, then I have to learn to love myself as deeply and as fully as I love him in order to create the balance required. While somewhere in the back of every twin flame's mind is the idea of union, that union cannot happen until there is true balance within each of us. So, if union is ultimately the goal, then I must cultivate unconditional acceptance and love for myself equal to the love I hold for him. It is this concept that truly defines the twin flame journey. It's not about romance. It's why the path can be so painful and gut-wrenching, and why, ultimately, it's so deeply important. This journey taught me to honor my own needs and feelings without guilt. To say no when something doesn't serve me, to walk away when necessary, and to create space for my own growth. Loving my twin flame doesn't mean losing myself in the process. It means holding space for both of us to evolve separately and together. If I tried to live against who I am in order to get him to like me more, or be what I thought he wanted, I would then be creating an imbalance and actually creating distance between us. I became my own safe place, my own healer, my own source of light. And that foundation of self-love is what allows me to show up authentically, not just in this connection, but in every part of my life. For me, this connection hasn't been about romance for a very long time. I let go of that idea decades ago when I married someone else. What I held onto instead was the hope of maintaining a meaningful friendship, a quiet thread of connection that didn't need labels or expectations. It was only 4 or 5 years ago that I learned about twin flames myself. For a brief moment, when I finally came to the conclusion of who my twin flame was, the idea of romance crossed my mind again, distant and flickering, but it didn't last. I watched him grow close to someone else, and any lingering thought of romance quickly faded. What changed my perspective? The true turning point came about 3 years ago, with a difficult realization: I may never see him again. Our paths were taking us down very different roads, and we were getting further and further away from one another. And I had this deep feeling that I needed to stay away for both of us. That truth cracked something open in me. It forced me to shift my perspective or be swallowed by grief. I had to find something to give me relief. I had to find a way to be okay. Not because I stopped caring or watching, per se, because holding too tightly would have broken me. I had to walk away for my own dignity. I'll stop rhyming now. I mean it. That's when the meaning of this journey changed for me. It stopped being about reunion. It became about transformation of my heart, my expectations, and my inner peace. The twin flame journey, as I've come to understand it, isn't a romantic plotline. It's not about ending up together. It's about acceptance, about growth, sometimes side by side, sometimes completely apart, but always pointing toward a deeper truth. And for me, that truth is this: my goal is not union. My goal is peace. Yes, I still care. Yes, I still enjoy his company. But I also know our lives are taking us in different directions. And that's okay. I like watching his adventures, seeing that he's happy. I like seeing just how far he can go, how high he can climb. He can climb so high, and he can climb the cliffs of insanity, and I will always be cheering for him from the sidelines. And I survived declarations of war, loss, pirates, theft, betrayal, battle of wits, poison, the pit of despair, marriage. the fire swamp, quicksand, flame spurts, and even the ROUS. And no, I don't think they're fictional, just metaphysical. Because this journey wasn't meant to bring me back to him, it was meant to bring me back to myself. And if it's not romantic, then what is it? People often say your twin flame is your mirror, but that doesn't always mean they reflect the best parts of you. In my experience, it's not about recognizing my light in them. It's about confronting my darkness. When I look at him, I don't see the goodness in him as something I also possess. I see the opposite. I see what I lack. I see who I wish I could be. He reflects back to me my insecurities, my doubts, my failures, my unhealed wounds. And that contrast, it doesn't feel validating. It feels exposing. If anything, this connection mirrors the yin-yang. Not in the poetic, peaceful way people like to frame it, but in the honest, gut-punch way of realizing the darkness that surrounds him lives in me, too. People like to say yin and yang like it's this peaceful balance, but it's easy to forget. The yin-yang is a light side and a dark side. Not two light sides, not two dark sides. One reflects what the other is missing. And in this case, he reflects the light I want, while all I can see in myself is shadow. And the light he carries feels like something I've always kept just out of reach. That reflection isn't there to comfort me, it's there to challenge me. It shows me the gap between who I am and who I want to become. And that's not easy to face, but it's real, it's honest, and it's part of what makes this journey so transformative. The twin flame mirror doesn't just highlight what's beautiful, it shines a light on what's been buried, ignored, or denied. And in doing so, it gives you a choice to stay in the shadow of that reflection or to start building your own light piece by piece. We've been conditioned to believe that if you feel this much intensity towards someone, it must be romantic. That's the part that breaks people's brains a little. But this connection, it doesn't follow the rules. It's not about candlelit dinners or growing old together on a porch swing. It's something else entirely. My twin flame is a spiritual accelerant, someone whose existence alone has caused a complete internal combustion of my illusions, my self-worth, my identity, all of it a complete ego death, or mostly ego death, which turns out is still a little bit alive, but still very painful. It's not about being together. It's about waking up. When people ask if it's not romantic, then what is it? I say, it's a mirror that cracks you wide open. It's a soul bond so raw that it forces you to see the parts of yourself you've hidden or ignored. It brings up childhood wounds, past life patterns, ancestral cycles. Sometimes it brings you to your knees, not to beg, but to pray, to heal, to transform. It's not about, do they love me? It's about, do I love myself enough to survive this? That's what it really is. It's not a storybook story. It's a soul story. Sometimes that story includes physical connection. Sometimes it doesn't. But what matters most is the alchemy, what changes inside you because of the connection. The way it rewrites your self-talk. The way it burns off your emotional baggage. The way it helps you unearth your gifts and step into your purpose. For me, that purpose is not about romantic union. It was about becoming whole on my own. And that's the beauty of it. And yet, it's this connection, this non-romantic, untouchable, inexplicable bond that finally helped me understand what love actually is. Not infatuation, not possession, not a fairy tale, but what the Bible tried to teach us all along. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Nowhere in that verse does it mention romance. Not once does it say, love is chocolates, flowers, fancy dinners, or Valentine's Day. It doesn't say, love texts back fast, or love posts cute couple pics. It says, love is kind. Love is patient. Love forgives. Love perseveres. And honestly, that's what this connection taught me. Not how to get love, but how to give it. Quietly, unconditionally, without needing anything back. Because love isn't what you hold in your hands. And I am not left-handed. It's what you hold space for in your heart. Because loving someone from afar, without needing to be chosen, without needing to be right, without needing anything in return. Less of I wish you well and more of as you wish. That's a level of love that doesn't come from fantasy. That comes from fire, swamp fire. You don't walk through that and come out unchanged. Life is pain, and anyone that tells you differently is selling you something. This kind of love isn't the easy kind. It's not the happily ever after kind. It's the soul-searing, ego-stripping, wake up and choose peace anyway kind. There are others in my life that I love unconditionally, but I can because of this connection. And somehow, in the quietest way possible, that is what made it sacred. This connection didn't complete me. It compelled me to complete myself, to see myself as whole. Are twin flames real? I honestly don't know. Was this all just a fairy tale? I don't know. I don't claim to have all the answers. This is just what I've lived, what I've learned, and what I continue to unpack. If you're on a journey like this, romantic or not, you're not alone. So that's my tale of fire, mirrors, monsters, and miracles. I guess it was a love story, a self-love story. I hope this helped answer some of your questions about twin flames. Thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to explore the cards with you soon.